if I lay here.
Hey Grey's fans! Welcome back to Grey's Anatomy Official. We've got a lot to unpack from Season 22, Episode 4, titled Goodbye Horses. This week, the drama at Grey Sloane hits full throttle as Jackson Avery returns, but not with the news Meredith was hoping for. After weeks focusing on her groundbreaking Alzheimer's research, Meredith learns Jackson allowed Tom Korosik to publish her results, even though her data only covered male mice. This revelation threatens not just her reputation, but the entire foundation of her work. Expect intense scenes as Meredith confronts both betrayal and the moral weight of her research. Meanwhile, Link is finally discharged from the hospital following his near-fatal injuries from last season's explosion. But don't expect rest. Jo's pregnancy story is moving fast, and we're closer than ever to the birth of her and Link's twin girls. Over on the personal side, Teddy's complicated love life gets even messier. Her budding connection with Cass Beckman leads to a painfully awkward encounter with Owen, who's still reeling from their divorce. The tension among these three is far from over. Hey lovely viewers, welcome to our channel Grey's Anatomy Official. What to expect from Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 4? Goodbye Horses. Jackson Avery returns, but with bad news for Meredith on Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 4, Goodbye Horses. While Meredith has been spending her time at Grey Sloane, things have apparently been moving forward elsewhere. She finds out that Jackson let Tom Korosik publish his Alzheimer's results, despite the fact that his research had only been on male mice. Meanwhile, Link is discharged from the hospital, and the relationship between Teddy and Cass Beckman makes for an awkward encounter with Owen. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 4 details. Goodbye Horses. Thursday, October 30th, 2025. Every Grey's Anatomy Season 1 character ranked worst to best before Grey's Anatomy became a 22-season roller coaster of emotions. Season 1 was all about raw potential. 5 interns try to survive Seattle Grace and figure out who they are inside and outside the OR. The chaos pulled everyone in. No one was iconic yet. Not Meredith, not Derek, not even Christina Young. They were just young doctors learning fast, breaking rules, and fighting to prove they belonged. That first season built everything the show would become. Some characters had an instant spark, while others needed time to grow. Before the wild storylines and impossible tragedies took over, this was Grey's Anatomy in its purest form. So let's go back to where it all began and rank every Season 1 character from worst to best, based on who showed the most promise before the drama got surgical. Dr. Addison Montgomery, played by Kate Walsh, made one of the most unforgettable entrances in Grey's Anatomy history, walking into Seattle Grace in the Season 1 finale and instantly detonating the Meredith and Derek love story with one line that was bold, icy, and pure TV gold. Hi, I'm Addison Shepherd. And you must be the woman who's been screwing my husband? Grey's Anatomy Season 1, Episode 9. Her arrival completely flipped the show's emotional core, transforming a budding romance into a messy love triangle that no one saw coming. From the start, Addison's role felt intriguing. Some saw her as the villain breaking up the couple they'd been rooting for, while others loved the chaos and the way she brought real-world complexity to the story. Even with limited screen time, Addison left a mark. She wasn't just the other woman. She was a top-tier neonatal surgeon with confidence, charm, and a presence strong enough to earn her own spin-off later. 9. Izzy Stevens. Katherine Heigl's Dr. Izzy Stevens was the intern who immediately stood out at Seattle Grace in Season 1. Coming from a modeling past, she had to prove she wasn't just a pretty face, and that tension made her instantly interesting. Moving in with Meredith Grey and bonding with the intern crew, Izzy quickly became part of the chaotic world of young doctors trying to survive long shifts and their own personal drama. Romantically, Heigl's Izzy had a rocky start. Her relationship with hockey player Hank fell apart as she tried to balance her career and her heart. Moreover, her on-and-off dynamic with Alex Karev teetered between bickering and undeniable chemistry. Through it all, Izzy showed she wasn't afraid to care, sometimes too much, and that made her both relatable and unpredictable. Season 1 was all about setting the stage, and Izzy was already hinting at the kind of doctor she would become, and was never afraid to push boundaries. Even in her first season, she was someone you couldn't take your eyes off. 8. Alex Karev. Dr. Alex Karev, played by Justin Chambers, stormed into Seattle Grace in Season 1 and immediately made his presence felt. He was cocky, brash, and had zero filter, the kind of intern who could make you roll your eyes 1 second and laugh the next. Nicknamed Evil Spawn by Christina Young, Alex came off as the ultimate bad boy of the OR, always ready to challenge authority or throw a sarcastic jab at his peers. But behind that tough guy exterior was someone shaped by a rough past, a chaotic family, a mentally ill mother, and a father who wasn't around in the way he needed. That upbringing explained a lot of his defensiveness and occasional recklessness, giving him a depth that wasn't immediately obvious. Season 1 also hinted at the softer side of Alex. His complicated dynamic with Izzy Stevens showed he could be vulnerable and even a little romantic when he wanted to be. He made mistakes and tested the patience of nearly everyone around him, but those rough edges were part of what made him compelling. From the start, Alex was a character in motion, cocky but capable, abrasive but skilled, and bursting with the kind of potential that would make him unforgettable as the series went on. 7. George O'Malley. George O'Malley was never the cool, confident surgeon, and that's exactly what made him unforgettable. Played by T.R. Knight, George started Grey's Anatomy as the intern whom everyone underestimated. He was the nice guy in a sea of overachievers, the one who froze during his first surgery. But beneath all that awkwardness was a heart that refused to give up. He moved in with Meredith and Izzy and developed a crush on Meredith for way too long. This kind of humiliation with sincerity made fans root for him even harder. What set George apart was how real he felt. While others chased glory, George chased purpose. He wasn't the best in the OR, but he always showed up for his patients and his friends with empathy and courage. His arc wasn't about being the best surgeon. It was about finding himself amid chaos. Over the seasons, we watched him grow from the nervous intern no one took seriously into a quietly heroic doctor who made one of the most selfless sacrifices on TV. George O'Malley didn't just make fans cry. He reminded us that kindness can be its own kind of strength. 6. Preston Burke. Preston Burke was Seattle Grace's quietly intense surgical rock in Season 1. He ran the cardiothoracic floor with authority, but he wasn't loud about it. Everything about him felt controlled, calculated, and exact. That precision extended to how he interacted with the interns. He wasn't here to coddle anyone, but he had a way of pushing people to be better. The most interesting part of Burke in Season 1 was his dynamic with Christina Young. At first, it's just professional, a brilliant surgeon and a determined intern recognizing each other's potential. But as the season moves on, there's a tension there, subtle but electric. They challenge each other, push boundaries, and blur the line between mentorship and something more personal. Portrayed by Isaiah Washington, he isn't the kind of character who grabs attention with drama. He sets the tone for the hospital. Excellence matters, mistakes have weight, and yet, in the cracks between control and discipline, you see a person who's more than just a surgeon. 5. Richard Webber. Richard Webber, played by James Pickens Jr., is the one keeping Seattle Grace from completely spiraling in Season 1. As chief of surgery, he's the guy making the impossible calls, balancing hospital politics, and trying not to let the interns completely crash and burn. He's tough when he needs to be, but there's a quiet sense that he actually cares about the people under his wing. There's also his past with Alice Gray, Meredith's mom, which hangs over him in small ways that make his interactions with Meredith layered. He's protective without being overbearing, fair but never soft, and somehow manages to keep everything together while chaos swirls around him. With the interns, he's the voice of reason, the one who sets boundaries, teaches lessons, and lets people stumble so they actually learn. Webber isn't flashy, and he doesn't need to be. He's the steady hand, the one you notice most when things are about to fall apart. Season 1 shows him doing the invisible heavy lifting that makes the hospital run, the kind of leader who keeps the show grounded even when everyone else is losing it. Derek Shepherd. It's easy to see why Dr. Derek Shepherd earned the nickname McDreamy in Season 1. Patrick Dempsey's character is calm, confident, and swoon-worthy, but he's not just eye candy. He's brilliant in the OR and complicated outside it. His first encounter with Meredith Grey sets the tone for one of TV's most iconic slow-burn romances, a chance meeting that leads to a one-night stand, tension, and chemistry that neither of them can ignore. From the start, Derek is layered, charming yet guarded, brilliant yet emotionally complex. In Season 1, he also functions as a subtle anchor for the interns. Everyone looks up to him, whether it's for surgical skill, advice, or just sheer presence. But his personal life, especially the complicated history with his wife Addison, adds a human element that contrasts perfectly with his cool, controlled persona. Derek isn't just good-looking or insanely skilled. It's the way he moves through the hospital with just a touch of mystery. Even in Season 1, he's more than a love interest. He changes the energy in every room he's in. Fans said goodbye to the character in Season 11 when a fatal accident killed Derek. 3. Miranda Bailey. Dr. Miranda Bailey, played by Chandra Wilson, didn't just show up at Seattle Grace in Season 1. She owned it. Straightforward, tough, and zero nonsense. She earned the intern's instant nickname, the Nazi, and yeah, that pretty much sums up how intimidating she could be. But underneath that sharp edge, Bailey is fiercely dedicated to the people she mentors. She pushes the interns hard, sets high standards, and won't let anyone cut corners, all while making sure they actually learn and grow. I have 5 rules. Memorize them. Rule number 1, don't bother sucking up. I already hate you. That's not going to change. Grey's Anatomy Season 1. Season 1 makes it clear that Bailey isn't just tough for the sake of it. She steers through the chaos of the hospital, juggling personalities, politics, and emergencies, but still manages to see each intern as a person, not just a trainee. Her balance of strictness and guidance is what makes her stand out. She expects excellence, but she also understands the messiness of being human. Chandra Wilson brings so much depth to Bailey, showing strength without making her cold and vulnerability without making her weak. She's already a stabilizing force in the first season, and someone you want in your corner when the hospital or life goes sideways. 2. Meredith Grey. Meredith Grey walked into Seattle Grace in Season 1 like someone carrying a lifetime of expectations on her back, and we felt every ounce of it. Played by Ellen Pompeo, she's a new surgical intern trying to make sense of the hospital chaos. On top of that, Grey's juggling a complicated love life while living under the shadow of her mother, Ellis Grey, one of the city's most renowned surgeons. From her very first moments, Meredith is layered and more than a little uncertain about how to balance her heart with her career. Season 1 immediately sets up her slow-burning, messy romance with Derek Shepherd, which starts with a chance encounter and a one-night stand. That tension threads through the entire season, blending professional stakes with personal vulnerability. Meanwhile, her friendships with the interns, especially Christina, and guidance from Dr. Bailey show just how tough, loyal, and adaptable Meredith is. What makes Meredith stick is that she's human in all the ways that matter. Messy, ambitious, compassionate, and occasionally indecisive. Even in Season 1, you can see she's someone who will grow and fight through it all and, in the process, quietly anchor the entire show. 1. Christina Young. Christina Young arrived at Seattle Grace in Season 1 like a storm of ambition, brains, and intensity. Played by Sandra Oh, she's the double doctor, MD and PhD, with a laser focus on becoming the best surgeon she can be. Her drive is personal too. A childhood car accident that took her father shaped her determination to save lives, and she channels that into every shift, every patient, every challenge. From day one, Christina is a force to be reckoned with. She's competitive, logical, and brutally honest, the kind of intern who will call you out when you're slacking but also push you to rise to the occasion. Season 1 also sets up her life outside the OR. She and Meredith become each other's person, going through the drama of the hospital together. Her moments with George O'Malley add another layer, showing that beneath all her focus and drive, she can actually care and connect. What makes Christina stick is how unapologetic she is about who she is. She's ambitious, brilliant, and sometimes intimidating, but she's also human, capable of connection. Ad space. Show name, Grey's Anatomy. Created by Shonda Rhimes. Seasons 22. Rotten Tomatoes score, 84%. IMDb 7.6/10. Original network, ABC. Streaming platforms, Hulu, Netflix. Season 1 of Grey's Anatomy threw us into Seattle Grace and didn't let go. The interns, the surgeons, the drama. It all felt real. From the start, this was a hospital full of stories you couldn't stop watching. Which character from the show is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 OTT release. Know where to watch it online? One of the most anticipated seasons of Grey's Anatomy has finally landed on your digital screens. Created by Shonda Rhimes, Grey's Anatomy has returned with its Season 22, which will center around the catastrophic or explosion that led the doctors, staff, and the entire hospital into chaos. From Dr. Monica Beltran losing her life to the blast to Dr. Atticus Lincoln surviving the attack with critical injuries, this season is expected to be high on emotions and intense sequences. When and where to watch Grey's Anatomy Season 22. Season 22 of Grey's Anatomy is now streaming on Geo Hotstar. New episodes drop each Friday. The viewers will require an active subscription to watch it online. Official trailer and plot of Grey's Anatomy Season 22. Season 22 picks up right from the moment where Season 21 ended with a catastrophic or blast, which was caused by cauterization tool sparking gas. This season will explore the aftermath of the explosion, leading to the stress and trauma surfacing around the doctors. Likewise, the doctors will be confronted with impossible surgical decisions and the challenges of rebuilding the hospital. Season 22 will be a lot more intense, and the sequences are expected to be filled with a blend of emotions and hope. Cast and crew of Grey's Anatomy Season 22. This series features prominent and familiar faces like Ellen Pompeo, Chandra Wilson, Kevin McKidd, Justin Chambers, James Pickens Jr., and more. Also this season, there will be new additions too. The music composition of the series has been delivered by Danny Lux. Reception of Grey's Anatomy Season 22. The season was released digitally on October 10, 2025. It received a remarkable response from the audience and the critics. The overall IMDb rating of the show is 7.6/10. Grey's Anatomy spin-off following Maggie to Chicago? There's a lot to find out. Kelly McCreary's recent return to Grey's Anatomy opened the door to a whole lot more comebacks. Maggie revealed to her sisters that she's expecting via a donor. But it also left us extremely curious about the doc's life away from Seattle, curious enough that it begs the question, how about a Maggie spin-off that follows her to the Windy City? Would Maggie's portrayer be into the idea? Oh, that would be so fun. McCreary enthuses to soaps.com. It would be really cool to check in with her on her own turf. As much as we see in this episode that she comes back and is the same Maggie, I've always been interested in knowing how she changes. The groundwork has certainly been laid for some surprises. I mean, all of a sudden, she decided to have a child with no support, all alone in another city, the actress continues. Or is she alone? What is her world like there? Who is her new chosen family in Chicago? There's a lot to find out. What would the spin-off story be? Maggie has come a long way as it is, from child prodigy to meeting her biological father Richard and losing her adoptive mother, marrying and divorcing Winston. A Maggie-centric spin-off would allow us to see how she reinvented herself after leaving Seattle, McCreary says. When you're building a world from scratch and you're not seeking something out as she was when she came looking for Richard and Meredith, but you're like making the thing, what would she choose? Grey's Anatomy's Eric Dane spotted for the first time since ALS reveal. Eric Dane made his first public outing since publicly revealing his ALS diagnosis. Dane, 52, stepped out in Los Angeles in a cream cardigan, white t-shirt, and beige pants, pairing the outfit with glasses and black loafers. Another pair of glasses hung from the collar of his shirt. In one image, a pal was photographed beside Dane as they stood behind a car on a sidewalk. Dane's wife, Rebecca Gayheart, also posed for photos during an outing in Los Angeles on Monday, April 14th. Gayheart rocked a casual white t-shirt that read, "Loving" in black text, paired with jeans and dark red mules. She smiled for photographers as she got out of the car. Rebecca Gayheart is all smiles during first outing since husband Eric Dane confirmed his ALS diagnosis. Days before the appearances, the Grey's Anatomy alum shared his surprising health update. "I have been diagnosed with ALS," he said in a statement to People on Thursday, April 10th. "I am grateful to have my loving family by my side as we navigate this next chapter. I feel fortunate that I am able to continue working and am looking forward to returning to set of Euphoria next week," the statement continued. I kindly ask that you give my family and I privacy during this time. Hours before the announcement, Gayheart filed to dismiss her divorce from Dane. The pair, who share daughters Billy, 15, and Georgia, 13, had been separated for 7 years. Gayheart previously filed for divorce in 2018, citing irreconcilable differences, but they never went through with their legal split. We are best of friends. We are really close. We are great co-parents, Gayheart said of Dane during an interview with E! News on Wednesday, April 9th. We really figured out the formula to staying a family, and I think our kids are benefiting greatly from it, and we are as well. Eric Dane announces he has been diagnosed with ALS. Grateful to have family by my side. She added, I think it's important to not look at a relationship that ends as a failure. It's just a season. It wasn't a failure. It was a huge success. We were married we are still married, but together for 15 years and we had 2 beautiful kids, so I think that's a successful relationship, and that's how we look at it. While Gayheart has yet to speak out about her husband's ALS diagnosis, she has subtly acknowledged his health struggle via social media. On Friday, April 11th, Gayheart shared a message about the real luxuries of life. The post read, time, health, a quiet mind, slow mornings, ability to travel, rest without guilt, a good night's sleep, calm and boring days, meaningful conversations, home-cooked meals, people you love, people who love you back. Grey's Anatomy star Ellen Pompeo issues blunt response about her future on the show. Grey's Anatomy star Ellen Pompeo has issued a blunt response about her future on the show, saying it wouldn't make sense for her to leave. Back in 2022, Pompeo scaled back her physical appearances on the ABC medical drama as Dr. Meredith Grey, taking on a more limited role for season 19. Since then, Pompeo, who has starred in the drama since 2005, has continued to guest star on the show, appearing in multiple episodes in seasons 20 and 21. Asked by Elle Pace if she has plans to leave the show, Pompeo said, "That would make no sense, emotionally or financially. The show was streamed more than 1 billion times in 2024. More than 1 billion times. The companies that own the show and stream the show make a lot of money from our images and our voices and our faces," Pompeo said. Expand article logo. Continue reading. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 4 release date and time revealed. The next chapter of Grey's Anatomy is almost here. Season 22 continues this week with a brand new episode. Fans are eager to see what drama unfolds next at Grey Sloan Memorial Hospital. The series remains a cornerstone of ABC's primetime lineup. This new installment promises the show's signature blend of medical emergencies and personal turmoil. When and where to watch the new episode. Grey's Anatomy Season 22, Episode 4, titled Goodbye Horses, is scheduled to air on Thursday, October 30th, 2025. It will broadcast on ABC at 10 p.m. Eastern Time and 7 p.m. Pacific Time. For viewers who prefer streaming, the episode will be available on Hulu. It typically appears on the platform the day after its initial television broadcast. This gives fans flexibility to watch live or on demand. What to expect in Goodbye Horses? The episode's plot centers on a bizarre and challenging trauma case. The medical team must think quickly when the emergency arrives inside the hospital itself. This situation will test the skills of the newest interns. Meanwhile, Meredith Grey takes on a complex breast reconstruction surgery. Her professional expertise will be pushed to its limits. According to ABC, the case forces her to confront difficult ethical choices. The personal dynamics among the staff will also see significant development. Tensions and alliances are expected to shift. This creates the emotional depth longtime viewers have come to expect. The enduring appeal of television's longest-running medical drama. Grey's Anatomy continues to captivate audiences after more than 2 decades on air. It successfully blends high-stakes medical procedures with deeply human stories. The show's ability to evolve its cast and themes is a key to its longevity. New characters bring fresh energy, while established faces provide continuity. This balance keeps the narrative feeling both familiar and new. The series remains a powerful force in television storytelling. The latest episode of Grey's Anatomy continues the show's legacy of intense drama. Goodbye Horses delivers another powerful dose of medical suspense. Tune in to see how the doctors of Grey Sloan handle their latest crisis. Grey's Anatomy promo teases Jesse Williams' return and twins' arrival as ABC Drama welcomes back Scott Speedman, and Sophia Bush. Grey's Anatomy has packed the current season 22 with familiar guest stars. In addition to star Ellen Pompeo being in each of the first 3 episodes as the titular Meredith Grey, the long-running medical drama featured the return of former series regular Kelly McCreary, who reprised her role as Maggie in episode 2, revealing that she is pregnant, with Kate Burton making a cameo as Ellis Grey. That was followed by the first appearances for the season of recurring guest stars Scott Speedman and Sophia Bush in tonight's episode 3. Speedman's Nick visited Grey Sloan to lead a risky living donor lung transplant, while Bush's Cass had a chance encounter with Teddy Kim Raver that led to a romantic outing at the end of the episode as Teddy is adjusting to her separation from Owen. We also heard her utter the word divorce for the first time in the episode. A season 22 promo that aired after the end of the episode, which recaps highlights and teases what is to come, revealed the upcoming return of Jackson, former series regular Jesse Williams, to Grey Sloan. He will guest star in episode 4 airing next Thursday, October 30th. The promo, which you can watch above, also provided a major clue about the pending birth of Jo, Camilla Luddington, and Link's Chris Carmack twin girls. The expectant parents are seen outside, with Jo saying that she thinks her water broke. In the scene, Link, who nearly died in the season 21 finale explosion, is discharged from the hospital, upright and walking, indicating that it is from a later episode. Fall finale, anyone? In her season 22 premiere interview with Deadline, Grey's Anatomy executive producer / showrunner Meg Marinis confirmed that the babies will be delivered this season. She also explained that future appearances by Speedman this season are contingent on the filming schedule and location of his newly picked-up ABC series, R.J. Decker. Tonight's episode 3 marked the first of 8 episodes without longtime series regular Katerina Scorsone, who, as Deadline reported exclusively last week, is on hiatus from the show as her character Amelia is on sabbatical. Grey's Anatomy season 22 episode 3 had doctors clashing and ships sailing. Oh, it was another deliciously messy and yet heartfelt Grey's Anatomy installment. Tension of all varieties was running high on Grey's Anatomy season 22 episode 3, and you could cut most of it with a scalpel, as conflicts emerged and complicated feelings seemed to prevail. But it was the humor and heart worked into the hour that often stole the show. Winston is such a mixed bag. It's weird because Winston is one of those characters whom I always wondered why he stuck around as long as he did. He's a good surgeon, hell, a great one, but for most of his tenure, it never felt like the series knew what to do with him beyond his ties to Maggie. And sometimes, we get glimpses of that even now, especially when he has such an inconsistent personality that can make him sympathetic and admirable one minute and irritating the next. The hour delivered both here. He and Nick were clashing like titans over this lung transplant case involving a family, and it had Nick coming across as too much of a risk-taker and rash, while Winston seemed like the overly critical person who maybe didn't voice his opinions at the right time. Winston's concerns were valid, and the family deserved a full picture of what the risks were regarding the two fathers donating part of the lung lobes for their son. But I could also understand Nick's frustrations because it felt like Winston was more loudly negative and doom-talking than being constructive. But he's also great at what he does, so it wasn't too much of a surprise when he emerged as the hero in the oar with his innovative, quick thinking. Winston still struggles with development, but Jules helps. Interestingly, some of the issues with Winston are that he's only ever really interesting as a character when he's attached to someone else. There are brief moments when his and Amelia's tense interactions are compelling. But now, the series is leaning heavily into this Winston/Jules situation. It's through Jules and how she perceives him that we actually get to understand his character. Her pep talk was absolutely stellar, and the tension between them was thick. However, sometimes it's irksome that Winston requires another character, and especially a romantic element, in order to get any real development, focus, or prominence as a character. Nevertheless, for those who are fully on board with the bizarre but sometimes interesting, rather forbidden type of relationship that's budding between Jules and Winston, the hour delivered on that again, and it's clear that both are having a hard time fighting these growing feelings between them. What are the odds that Jules will even be able to go through with that throwback Meredith/Christina No-Sex pact that she made with Simone? They aren't favorable if you ask me. The case was interesting enough because it was definitely one that could have easily went sideways and had the child or almost everyone dead. Grey's loves to put us through emotional hell. And they leave us on guard, too, because I initially thought the fathers didn't actually want to do the surgery, and then the one having an infection seemed like something he was withholding on purpose. Lucas may be key to saving Katie. But instead, the real heartbreak came with Bailey and her patient Katie. The second we knew they were opening her up, I suspected that they'd find more tumors. It was a heartbreaking development, and the fact that this young woman with so much life ahead of her and a genuine desire to help people is battling terminal cancer made me tear up. But so did Lucas. Optimistic, as long as you're still here, nothing is over. His compassion, empathy, and ability to connect with people have always made him one of the brightest of the bunch. He commits to patients so much, I often fear he'll burn out. And based on his facial expression, he'll likely go down a rabbit hole trying to find some way to save Katie. If anyone can find a solution, he can. It's one of the subtle things worth appreciating about the character, and how his own neurodivergence via his ADHD can sometimes be an asset rather than a detriment. Is the show deliberate with that? Maybe not. But that's the perception it gives off. Lucas can also be a phenomenal mentor if only he learns how to set his personal feelings aside. It was one thing to be a dick to Wes outside of the OR, and there were some amusing aspects of that. Sometimes, you just have to be petty. I'm already over the Lucas-Simone-Wes love triangle. But when it spilled into his ability to actually teach Wes and it impacted patient care, that's when Lucas was doing the absolute most and going too far. It was unprofessional and immature, and he's so much better than that. Thankfully, he realized that by the end. Now, whether or not he and Wes will still have to work through some things is another story. But this whole situation is genuinely irritating. Two decent doctors should not be nearly fumbling their profession over a woman. Seriously. Lucas barely got back on track, and he practically risked all of the progress he made because he was in his feelings about Simone. As someone who used to ship the pairing, the whole situation with them is exhausting at this point, and it needs to be iced for a while so we can all move on. No one emerges from the messiness that is their relationship, riddled with poor communication and too much emotional baggage, looking particularly great. Grey's does not know what to do with Quan, and Quan sure as hell wasn't looking great. It almost felt like they randomly regressed his character to the arrogant jerk that he used to be, and it was so off-putting. If there's one character the series doesn't seem to know what to do with, it's Quan, and it's so disappointing because Harry Shum Jr. is amazing. Quan totally flubbed his first impression with his plastics fellow. When did he even start showing interest in plastics anyway? And just came across like a sexist who kept digging a hole for himself. Between Quan treating her like crap, assuming she was his subordinate and undermining her, and the patient deferring to Quan over her, that poor woman had the worst first day ever and missed a date too. I would be livid. Teddy didn't come across the best either, but that likely depends on how one feels about the whole Teddy and Cass situation. Sophia Bush's return was underwhelming because she didn't have much to do outside of that awkward elevator moment at the top of the hour and the makeout session at the end. Are you aboard the Teddy/Cass train? Cass just feels so one-dimensional as a character that it's hard to invest in her, let alone her romance with Teddy. But Teddy just seems like she's all over the place right now, and falling into bed with anyone is probably the last thing she even needs. We learn that she and Owen are getting a divorce, and I say, thank goodness, they've been an exhausting, toxic couple for a while now. But it never feels over between them, so we're probably going down another messy storyline where Teddy fools around with Cass and then finds her way back to Owen. Was anyone else confused about why she's the one staying in a hotel, and he's with the kids? Ugh. But as bland as the whole Teddy-Owen-Cass-Nora situation is, Joe and Teddy spending the day together picking out a SUV was an entertaining and fun side plot. Teddy and Joe are a great dynamic. Joe is genuinely happy, in the best part of her life these days, and when she's not, woe is Joe, she can actually be endearing. She was also such a good friend to Teddy and gave her great advice about divorce, how it feels, and that beautiful reminder that Teddy's kids deserve the best version of her. You can't take care of others until you properly take care of yourself, and sometimes women, and moms especially, need that reminder. Teddy was also great with striking deals with the car salesman because, goodness, Joe would have been an easy mark for them. Joe and Teddy are such a fun dynamic, and Grey's always thrives because of how well they take advantage of the vast cast and different interactions. Ben and Weber celebrating their chiefdom and having a great first day. dancing and being happy, was amusing and fun too. Grey's Anatomy fans, here's the truth behind why Katerina Scorson isn't in Season 22 as Grey's Anatomy airs Season 22. It's hard to believe the show has been appearing on ABC for over 2 decades. Over the years, viewers have tuned in every week to follow the lives of the first responders working at Grey Sloan Memorial Hospital. Since Season 7, Katerina Scorson has portrayed Amelia Shepherd, one of the many fan-favorite characters. As the sister of the late Derek Shepherd, Amelia's life has taken plenty of twists and turns. But no matter the season, people love to see what she has in store and how her life gets intertwined with her fellow coworkers. Despite being a longtime series regular, fans got quite a surprise when Amelia decided to depart from Grey Sloan early on in Season 22. With this in mind, folks are likely wondering why Katerina Scorson is taking a break from Grey's Anatomy. The announcement of Katerina's hiatus came just after the milestone 450th episode aired on October 16th, with Amelia choosing to go on sabbatical from her neurosurgery job at Grey Sloan. As for the reason behind the character's absence, she shared it came as a result of Dr. Monica Beltran, Natalie Morales' death from the hospital explosion in the Season 22 premiere. How long will Katerina's time away from the show actually be? According to Deadline, her absence will span 8 episodes. The outlet also noted that the hiatus is a cost-saving measure. Veteran series regulars like Kevin McKidd, Chandra Wilson, James Pickens Jr., and others are all expected to be in 14 out of the season's projected 18 episodes. When will Katerina Scorson return to Grey's Anatomy? As far as when the actress is expected to come back to Grey's Anatomy for Season 22, news reported Katerina Scorson will return to Grey's Anatomy Season 22 in 2026. Even though it's unclear how Amelia's storyline will be folded back into the bustle of those working in Grey Sloan, it's good to know Katerina's not leaving Grey's Anatomy entirely. But until then, it looks like we'll have to tune in and see what happens. Grey's Anatomy teases Jesse Williams' unexpected return for Season 22. Jesse Williams is lacing up his scrub cap again. After his Grey's Anatomy departure in 2021, the actor, who plays Dr. Jackson Avery, is set to make a rare return to Grey Sloan Memorial Hospital. Indeed, his character, who has only made a handful of guest appearances since his 2021 exit, surprisingly showed up in an October 23 teaser for an upcoming Season 22 episode and naturally encourages Meredith Ellen Pompeo to return to her Alzheimer's research in Boston, where he also now lives. "You've got to be kidding me," Meredith says in the promo for Episode 4, which is set to air October 30th. The scene cuts to her unexpectedly confronting Jackson in person at the Seattle hospital and calling out another departed doctor, Tom Korosik, Greg German. "You let Korosik publish his Alzheimer's results?" Jackson, later unfazed, calls out Meredith's halted research in another clip. "Your lab is apparently completely unused," he tells her. "And you haven't published anything. Maybe instead of hiding out here all summer, you could be figuring this out." Jackson's return followed another somewhat surprising return in the latest Grey's Anatomy episode, as Sophia Bush reprised her role as Dr. Cass Beckham to romance Dr. Teddy Altman, Kim Raver, amid her divorce from longtime husband Dr. Owen Hunt, Kevin McKidd. In the final moments of October 23rd episode, Teddy and Cass finally put an end to their year-long will-they, as the former doctor picks Cass up from her home, kisses her and takes her out on a date. Despite her prior reservations of her relationship with the trauma surgeon, Teddy appears to be all in. In fact, she and Cass are tangled in bed in a different scene of the October 30th episode's promo, with Teddy telling her, "We're going to be late if we don't go soon." The scene then cuts to the women's awkward run-in with Owen and Dr. Atticus Lincoln, Chris Carmack, who's doing much better following the explosion in the Season 21 finale. As he tells Teddy and Cass in the trailer, officially discharged. While the carousel of shocking Grey's Anatomy moments truly never stops turning, there are some standouts since the show's 2005 premiere. Keep reading for every moment of the Shonda Rhimes series that has had fans calling their own code blues. Is Katerina Scorson returning to Grey's Anatomy? The truth behind Dr. Amelia's Season 22 exit. Grey's Anatomy star Katerina Scorson takes a break from the show in Season 22. Know when the actress is expected to return. It has been more than 2 decades since the pilot episode of Grey Euro-S Anatomy aired, and Ida Euro-S still going strong with the 22nd season. Apka Euro-S hugely popular medical drama continues to keep fans guessing what Euro-S next, which only testifies to creator Shonda Rhimes and her team Euro-S mettle in proving that compelling storytelling, complex characters, and emotional depth never go out of style, even after years of heartbreaks, miracles, and unforgettable moments at Grey Sloan. Grey's Anatomy confirms Jesse Williams' return for Season 22. Jesse Williams is returning to Grey Sloan Memorial Hospital. The actor will reprise his role as Dr. Jackson Avery for an upcoming episode. His unexpected appearance was revealed in a promotional teaser. This marks one of his few returns since his character's departure in 2021. Jackson Avery pushes Meredith back to Alzheimer's research. In the teaser, Jackson confronts Meredith Grey about her stalled work. He notes her lab in Boston sits completely unused. This prompts a tense exchange between the former colleagues. Meredith expresses shock at his sudden presence. She also questions published research from another departed doctor. Jackson remains unfazed and challenges her to resume her important project. This storyline continues Meredith's pursuit of an Alzheimer's cure. According to ABC, the show continues to blend medical drama with personal journeys. The interaction suggests a significant plot development for Season 22. Return follows other major character surprises. Williams' cameo follows another surprising return. Sophia Bush recently reprised her role as Dr. Cassie Beckham. Her character is now romantically involved with Dr. Teddy Altman. These guest appearances signal a trend for the new season. The show is bringing back familiar faces to create new dynamics. This strategy often generates significant fan excitement and media coverage. The upcoming episode also features other key developments. Dr. Atticus Lincoln is shown recovering from last season's explosion. Multiple storylines are advancing simultaneously. The return of Jesse Williams underscores the enduring appeal of Grey's Anatomy legacy characters. His surprise cameo is sure to excite longtime viewers of the record-breaking medical drama. Thought you'd like to know: why did Jesse Williams originally leave Grey's Anatomy? How many episodes will Jesse Williams appear in? What is the status of Meredith's Alzheimer's research? Are other original characters returning this season? When did Jackson Avery first appear on the show? Grey's Anatomy alum Jesse Williams sets Season 22 return. The actor behind Dr. Jackson Avery will guest star in the medical drama's October 30th episode. Grey's Anatomy is bringing back another familiar face for Season 22. Jesse Williams, the actor behind fan-favorite Dr. Jackson Avery, will guest star on the October 30th episode of the ABC medical drama, setting the stage for a tense reunion with Meredith, Ellen Pompeo. His return was teased in a promo for Episode 4 after Thursday's new episode. The short moment saw him bonding with new chief resident Dr. Ben Warren, Jason George. A logline for the episode reads, "The interns juggle a bizarre trauma, while a complex breast reconstruction forces Meredith into a tense partnership." That tense partnership likely signals that Jackson and Meredith will be partnering up to help this patient, the first time they've worked together since the titular surgeon sparred with Dr. Catherine Avery, Debbie Allen, over her Alzheimer's research, with Jackson siding with his mother in the disagreement. Williams' return comes just 2 weeks since Grey's welcomed back Kelly McCreary as Dr. Maggie Pierce for the 450th episode on October 16th. Despite coming to Seattle to comfort Amelia Katerina Scorsone after the death of Monica Beltran, Natalie Morales, Maggie ended up dropping a bombshell of her own when she revealed she was pregnant from a sperm donor. The visit ended up inspiring Amelia to take a sabbatical from the hospital, sparked by Scorsone's extended hiatus from the show until her return in 2026. The show also saw the return of Dr. Nick Marsh, Scott Speedman, in Thursday's new episode, as he helped Meredith navigate growing pains with her son Bailey. Williams joined Grey's Anatomy as a recurring character in Season 6 and was promoted to series regular in Season 7. He exited the show in Season 17 but has made guest star appearances in Seasons 18 to 19 and 21. Beyond Grey's, his TV credits include the lead role in Hotel Costera at Prime Video and guest appearances in Power, Only Murders in the Building, and a Black Lady sketch show. Grey's Anatomy Teddy and Owen are officially finally over. The saga of Teddy Altman, Kim Raver, and Owen Hunt, Kevin McKidd, has been going on for years, decades even, in the timeline of Grey's Anatomy, but it looks like that divisive part of the show's story is finally officially over. On Thursday's October 23rd episode of the beloved medical drama, the premier heart and trauma surgeon took a time out from all things Grey Sloan to help Jo Wilson, Camilla Luddington, run an errand to pick out a new car for her growing brood, ostensibly to help Jo negotiate for a better price, and she ended up realizing a lot about herself in the process. After hearing the salesman dutifully remind Jo of what she would be investing in by buying a quality car, that is, priceless memories with her family on road trips, Teddy was overcome with grief about what divorce, yes, she specifically used the D word, would mean for her own children with Owen. However, Jo, who's been in that situation not once but twice before, opened Teddy's eyes to the opportunity that comes with a fresh start and encouraged her to find one sliver of happiness at a time in the aftermath. Thanks for watching this videos. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up.